We're going to now go to Rachel Ara. And Rachel Ara is internationally cancelled conceptual artist. She's a sculptor, an occasional filmmaker, and she's going to talk to us about, the title of her talk is Inconvenient Women, an Initiative to document these times in visuals and film. So thank you so much for coming, Rachel, and over to you.
As an artist, I've noticed that it's becoming increasingly difficult to make or show work that has concerns relating to feminism. We're being no platformed, our work is being deselected from galleries, festivals and collections, and we're not getting funding to make new work. Visuals are an important way of reaching wider audiences, and our voices have to be out there in all media. So what I'm going to do is put forward a few proposals for creating our own networks and making and showing films, and also trying to get some feedback from you about what you'd want. So it's a quick talk. It's only going to take about 15 minutes. So I'm going to talk about what I'm proposing, why, just basically a bit of background where I'm coming from, and then maybe a solution to this issue. So what I'm proposing to do is curate a series of free regular screenings for women, sort of bi-monthly, hopefully using this platform or a similar streaming service. So I want the films to be made by women and about women's issues. And I can imagine this program would probably be a couple of hours. It would probably be introduced and have some contemporary shorts and some important historical work. So I think the intention is for the program to be about, it should be entertaining, but there should be some sort of educational and general interest work. And long term, we can maybe build a catalogue that could be used as a resource for education or other things. And I think we could go from sort of curating interesting stuff, even from memes, from TikTok, micro shorts up to features, and looking at all genres from documentary, comedy, revenge movies. I mean, basically anything that goes. I think we have to see what's out there. And another point was, I think the best films probably haven't been made. I mean, not enough work that's really been documenting what's happening now, you know, in these very strange times, especially with sort of feminist movements and gender ideology. So what I wanted to do was put together a mechanism to encourage you to actually start making some of the works. So I thought a good idea for that was about creating sort of a 1 minute short competition, which is great for sort of novice filmmakers to start on that. And the 1 minute, I mean, it can be very, very powerful, and a lot can be said in that time. So, and the films can be made at very low production values on your smartphone or computer, because you don't really need a budget to make a decent film. But I also realise I might be talking very first world here. So I've also collected or got together some funds so we can actually do bursaries. People who don't have access to basic equipment like smartphones, computers, software, buying stock music. And also what I wanted to do was to provide a network of mentoring. I mean, a lot of friends work in the film industry, and I think, you know, I've made some very sort of low budget films. So I thought we could actually get together to help you sort of make these films. So the question was, why film? I mean, I'm really a sculptor, I'm not really a filmmaker, but given the environment out there for gender critical feminists in terms of art, it's very, very hostile at the moment. And like other visual arts, image and sound, it can overcome the language barrier, and it reaches different parts sort of that other work doesn't. And many women, I feel, get left out of certain areas of feminism because it always focuses on the spoken work or text, which at times can be quite confusing. I know I don't read a lot of stuff, and I really rely on visual stuff. And film, probably more than any other art, is probably the most impactful in terms of sharing and communicating ideas and experience. And the other thing I wanted to touch was logistics. Film is a lot easier to store, to distribute, and it doesn't have a lot of associated costs. So here's an example. Here's my work being assembled in the Museum of Contemporary Art in Korea in 2019. And you can look at the amount of people I'm actually dependent on, like funding, conservation people, you know, because of all the packing and unpacking, transportation costs and storage costs are just prohibitive. So basically, if you get cancelled, it's bloody expensive. And that piece of work was setting up this work in the museum, which is a piece of work I made called This Much I'm Worth. And it's an artwork that all it does is generate its sales value. So it was really critiquing sort of I think the sort of sex pay gap in terms of women in the art world, how less we get paid and sponsored. And it was interesting when this work was featured in the Financial Times, they left out all the feminist critique associated with it and just focused on the technical. So what I'm trying to say is, soon after this work gained a lot of notoriety, I liked the Alison Bailey tweet, and that was it. I was just cancelled big time. So all my talks were cancelled at universities, commissions were revoked. I had to have security on my door when I was being resident at one of the major museums in London. I also get constant attacks, probably like many of you, on social media, and my family does as well. And currently my site is blacklisted, so people can't even link to it. So the issue was about being totally cancelled, is that I have to now deal with the logistics of storing these sculptures that are not on display and have to be disposed of. If with film you don't have that issue, I think as gender critical feminists we need to be a lot lighter on our feet. So I was in the position where I didn't have any funding or studio, so I thought, well, what can you do at your kitchen table? So I think earlier this year I made this film, and it probably cost under £100 to make, and I made it in the evenings after work. And it was called, it's quite gender critical itself, it was called The Battle of a Leaf Blower, and it was based upon chapter of a book, Clitophobia, What Your Mother Didn't Tell You Because She Didn't Know. I hadn't really animated before, and all the skills I learned for free on YouTube. So that's a great platform. And I think in the film world, I'm not sort of known as a TERF yet. I hate saying that word, but I can still show my work. So, once I got it made, there's a lot of festivals out there. There's over 10,000 festivals in the world. But I noticed that a lot of film festivals that were traditionally women are now showing men's work as well, and they're bending over backwards to be inclusive. So, I mean, I get a bit fed up with constant confrontation about the content of my work. I mean, I can't say it's pretty much out there. I think it's quite normal in terms of feminism today, or second wave feminism. But I put it in a local film festival and actually won, which was actually rather wonderful. And it was the only film there without sort of funding or official support. So I guess the moral of this is you don't need funding. You just need a good idea and time as well, really, to get the message out there. So I thought it'd be great to sort of create a facility to actually encourage you basically to start doing that. So the end game is, I think what I'd like to do and what I'd like people's feedback on is to get this regular screen night sort of bi-monthly, and I want to get this up and running pretty quickly. I'll also be putting a call out on Film Freeway, which is a sort of international sort of portal for the distribution of film. It's free, so it'd be really interesting to see what films are already out there. I mean, I know a couple of brilliant ones are out there at the moment. I'll also be putting a call out for a 1-minute short competition. I hope to be running some Zoom workshops with some experts as well, where we can actually show you the basics of actually putting together a film in a sort of environment that feels quite safe, with mentoring feedback. I'll also be looking at historical work as well to program in, and also to give the opportunity, if you've got a good idea, to sort of apply for bursaries if you need help for funding with it. So that's basically it. And I set up an email last night for it, realwomenfilm@gmail.com, which is quite funny. And I know I'm focused a lot on film, but I just think at the moment, given the environment, it's a good medium to actually be showing. It's quite an immediate medium. And if people are interested in the visual arts, other visual arts, I mean, also get in contact, because there are groups of women I know who are dealing with this. So really, that's it. It was just to propose the idea of what I want to do. And if any of you got any ideas of what you want, to really get in contact with me. So as I get this together in the next month, we can sort of get it together in conjunction with everyone.